Hi everyone. Uh, Today I'm doing a video on a couple of recent comic book adventures that I had. One's a new pickup and one's a continuation from a previous video. Um, I'd also like to start off by saying that I was doing a lot of silver videos and I haven't stopped buying silver, but the stuff I'm buying is old hat to most people. Picking up some uh, generic Morgans, as they say, easy grabs. I haven't been buying tons of say bullion silver, the Eagles and whatnot. I think in terms of my own play money, so to speak, I think my ratio between silver and cash is probably where I want to have it. So anything I buy would be additions to ongoing series like the kookaburras, the koalas, and such. So I think for now I'll probably stay off the silver until I have another big purchase. Um, but so I'm gonna start up with these comic videos when I come across them, when I can put something that I think is interesting to hear. In this case, I do. So I think my last video was about the Terrificon. Could have been 2 videos ago. My Terrificon pickup from August with the John Romita uh, or the double cover, the Amazing Spider-Man 66 double cover that I picked up raw, found in the wild. Well, as it turns out, I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy, blah, blah, blah. He was able to get into a private signing with John Romita Sr., and he did me a total solid. He got the book signed for me, and it was sent off to CGC. I was hoping, if I was lucky, for a maybe a 7.0 outside and an 8.0, and if I was lucky, an 8.5 inside. I think I even said that on the video regarding the double cover. Um, and so a few weeks ago, this took an alternate route getting back to me, but it's back in my hands now. Um, and I'll put this one aside because this is part 2 of the whole thing. But I love the cover, so I'll keep it in sight. So here's my John Romita, and as you can see, he had a very thoughtful signature placement right there inside the cape in gold. I was really happy with that, and so it got sent off. And my buddy a few weeks ago um, started texting me, and he seemed like he was annoyed, and I got angry with him, and I said, "What?" And then he told me what he was meaning with all his little weirdo texts. And the idea is that my book came back 9.4 with white pages. The outer cover is 8.5 and the inner cover is 9.4, signed by John Romita. And I was ecstatic, beyond ecstatic. Um, this is better than I could have hoped for. First of all, the double cover obviously is, but then to be in a position to have the timing correctly where he was able to get in on the signing for me, and have Mr. Romita sign it in such a thoughtful placement, which I really appreciated. I've heard some people, I've posted this, some people were iffy on the placement. I really like it because he thought it out. He didn't just like scribble across the front. It would have been easy to put it right here, and I would have been cool with that too. He could have done it in black right up here, and I would have been cool with that too. But like I said, I think he thought about it and he found a nice place and he put it in there, and I like it. But to have a 9.4 white pages, a 12 center, uh, Amazing Spider-Man that I was looking to upgrade, but now it's graded and slabbed. I have to put it in my slab box. I'm still looking for an upgrade possibly for my raw box. But I couldn't have asked that turn out any better than it did. Um, uh, and not for nothing, as they say, what turned out to be an interesting find. Uh, And I bought this for $30 from a dealer. He didn't know he had a double cover, and I didn't know until I opened the book at the show, and then I quickly closed it and then paid for the book. Most of these dealers don't go through every book that they buy, and this is just something that happened, and I was lucky this time. But what happens is it escalates the value between the high grade, the white pages, the signed by John Romita, the CGC verification, the double cover. This has more. This has probably increased the value 20 times what I bought it for. But I'm not looking to sell it. I have a little story behind it. It's a book I like. I feel very fortunate to have it, and I'm going to keep it. It's going right in my box, and it's not going away. So that's the end of that. Now, another oddity in the market, and I'll use the term oddity lightly, is the Mark Jewelers inserts that were inserted into books. I think it was back in the 80s mostly on military bases. And I didn't know too much about them, but I kind of wanted one. I wanted a double cover of a book that I liked, and obviously that's way taken care of now. But I hadn't gotten a Mark Jewelers in a condition on the book. I couldn't find anything. So I've been recently looking at a Facebook comic show that airs every Saturday night. A couple of really nice guys from down south. And even though I believe that their pricing is aggressive, they have lots of really nice books. And I also believe that their grading is solid. And they happen to have an Amazing Spider-Man 238, which is one of my favorite books. First appearance of Hobgoblin happens to be the newsstand version, which is generally thought of as more desirable due to when comic shops were starting out, and you had comic shops getting books, and you had supermarkets and drugstores still having books. The supermarkets and drugstores would have the UPC code here, whereas I believe it all had to do with Diamond distribution, the comics distribution company. If it was going to a comic shop, instead of the UPC, it would be blank. It would have a slash through it, or it would have some type of Marvel themed picture, or Marvel or DC themed picture there. That would be called a direct copy. And then along the time that comic shops really came into focus, there were more directs being produced than there were newsstand versions, because people were getting their comics from comic shops. And on top of that, it's loose on a rack in the drugstore or the supermarket, and it gets beat up a little more. And so a high grade newsstand is generally considered more desirable than a high grade direct copy. That's the general gist of the whole thing. But anyway, it doesn't really matter all the time to me, but if I have an opportunity to pick something up and I can see it's a newsstand, I just think it adds just a little something extra if I ever decided to sell, which I don't plan on right now. So what they had was a 238 newsstand, which happens to be the first Hobgoblin, which also had the Mark Jeweler insert, and it has the tattoos. As you can see here, it comes with lakeside skin tattoos, free sample. And all these books happen to, if they go graded or what have you, they will put on them. It will get a green label if it gets graded and it doesn't have the tattoos. That's a big thing. If you're a comic person and you go on eBay and you're looking for 238, it will have to say, you need to know, does it have the tattoos or doesn't it? And that's important to people. I mean, it lowers the grade, it lowers the cost. So what I have here is a really nice, I bought this as like a 7580, I believe. I'm not going to get it graded. I don't think, but I think I found like a couple of minor spine ticks. I don't know if I get the focus on this right. A couple of minor spine ticks. The corners are nice. I can see a little bit of a crease, a non-color breaking, like a fold or a bend here. No big deal. I'm feeling the book all around. It really looks solid. Um, I think it's an 8.0 all day long, maybe even an 8.5, especially if I was to say have it pressed or what have you. But inside is the, and I'll show you the Mark Jewelers inserts. Here we go, and it's simply a jewelry insert, so that military people have an opportunity to buy rings from Mark Jewelers. It's just an advertisement, really. But they were not always included in all the books. And so Mark Jewelers inserts variants or versions are also sought after. And so I think I probably overpaid for this, but I wanted a Mark Jeweler. This is a key book, first Hobgoblin. I already had a 238, but the one I had happened to be the direct version, so now I have a newsstand version. It's kind of a lot of things that I wanted, and I had recently sold some action figures, and so I made that sale earlier in the day, and so when I was watching the show, and kind of this thing was like screaming to me, I just put the message in. I said I'll take it. I put in an offer, 15% off, 15 or 18% off, and they took it. It's possible, like I said earlier, it's possible I might get this graded. If I was able to get it in another signing, I'd love to get it signed by both John Romita Jr. and Sr., which this book has both of their contributions to it, so that would be tremendous. But I don't know. And on the label, it would also say, just like I have label notes here for double cover. If I was to get this graded, it would also have a label note for both the Mark Jeweler insert and the tattoos, the Has tattoos. So that would be interesting. I appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed what I have here. And you should be on the lookout for these things as well. If you're out there at shows. I'm only doing a couple of shows this year as a fan. I just came back from like a quickie one-day show, and I didn't find much. Everything was show priced. I think you guys know what that means, and so I didn't buy anything. But I appreciate you watching, and hopefully you'll come back for other videos that I have, or check out the ones that I still have up there. Thanks again, and have a good day.